Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 4th of March 2026 and surprisingly guys, despite Operation Epic Fury going on, the prices of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market has pumped up. Now look guys, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we won't get into details regarding Operation Epic Fury, but what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, follow President Donald Trump's administration regarding the update because according to me they are doing a phenomenal job in giving regular updates. So what I'd urge you to do is guys, go ahead and follow the White House YouTube channel, follow the X account, follow Pete Hegseth, because he's the Secretary for the Department of War. Along with that, also follow Marco Rubio, because he's the US Secretary of the State, probably the most important person in the world right now. And along with that, guys, President Donald Trump might just be one of the most transparent presidents in history. So follow President Donald Trump via his Truth Social account as well. Now, what is really interesting to note, guys, since the announcement of this war, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies did actually pump up. It did go down, but since the last 24 hours, there is significant amount of inflows. Now, Satoshi, am I right in saying that the crypto-related ETF is in inflows because the market is lacking a lot of clarity and clear direction as to what is going on regarding Operation Epic Fury? What is your say regarding it, Satoshi?
You're absolutely right. It does look like the market is reacting positively to clarity, especially regarding Operation Epic Fury, and that seems to have piqued investor sentiment. That being said, though, guys, it's still at extreme fear, with the number being 20, and there's some really strong correlation between the crypto-related inflows and that of market sentiment.
So for the next few days, I'm really curious to check, Satoshi, how the prices will be reacting to news connected to Operation Epic Fury. But look, as what I'd really urge you to do is follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social, follow Pete Hegseth, and follow Marco Rubio as they're providing constant update. Now in today's episode, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover. Now the first is that we're going to be talking about is connected to central bank digital currency. And here's the thing, guys. President Donald Trump, during his campaign, did actually state that when he becomes the president, he will put an outright ban on central bank digital currency, and the promises have been kept. Now to our listeners, Satoshi, can you tell us what is it that we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode? Because when you talk about central bank digital currencies, they are kind of opposite to why Bitcoin was created as well, isn't it?
It will be interesting to observe that, George. And as we discussed in this episode, we'll be examining the recent developments regarding the USA CBDC ban, a promise President Trump kept, and how it differs from Bitcoin's original purpose.
Now we'll definitely delve into that, Satoshi. Now the next news is connected to the strength of US dollar. Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is it that we are going to be discussing regarding US dollar? And we'll also go ahead and discuss how it actually compares to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right?
Certainly, George. We will discuss the US dollar's recent strengthening, examining how it impacts risk-off sentiment and compares to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
And I'm curious to check what the strength of the US dollar is for the next few days. Now the next news is connected to Tether, but this cause is connected to a stablecoin that is issued only in the United States of America, and the ticker symbol for that is USAT. And here's the thing, guys, they have actually published a reserve report, and this report is actually published by Deloitte, so we'll definitely delve into that. Now the final news, Satoshi, is connected to OKX, isn't it? And looks like they're integrating with Katana infrastructure. So do you want to tell our listeners what is it that we're going to be exploring regarding this news later on in today's episode?
In this episode, George, we'll be analyzing the recently published Tether USA Reserve Report, which Deloitte examined, and discussing the implications. Regarding the OKX integration, we'll be exploring how they've partnered with Katana to offer native on-chain DeFi yields directly on their platform, including details about the CAT token promotion and the significance of DeFi yield distribution on exchanges.
And am I right in saying that Polygon Labs is involved in this as well?
Yes, Polygon Labs is involved in that integration.
So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this. So look, guys, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the news, guys, are events that is conducted by me, that is Blockchain DXB. So do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are the two events and what is it that the listeners can expect later on in today's episode? And by the way, guys, both of these events are completely free of cost. And if any of you guys do want to go ahead and sponsor the session, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com So do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are the two news we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
We have two exclusive events to look forward to, George. The first is Bitcoin for Business, Buy and Total Bitcoin on Saturday, March 21st. And the second is Tokenization, Unlocking Real-World Assets with Blockchain on Friday, April 3rd. Listeners can expect to learn about Bitcoin integration for businesses, compliance requirements, and the transformative potential of tokenization.
And both of these events, Satoshi, are designed in a way you can be a completely beginner, advanced or technical experts. It is catered to all three levels. So look, as you have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. But before we go ahead and kickstart today's episode, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, as whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website, that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code BlockchainDXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it, Be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website that is www.amt.tv and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, look, as the global cryptocurrency market is pumped up to $2.41 trillion. And if you look at it in terms of dollar amount, the total cryptocurrency market volume is at $125 billion. Now, that thing being said, guys, if you look at the volume since the last 24 hours, it is marginally down by 1.60%. And as Satoshi mentioned earlier, the market sentiment is still at extreme fear, guys. But the number associated is actually pumped up, and right now it is at 20. And one of the reasons why the market sentiment is pumped up, Satoshi, is because there is surprisingly inflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and that ETF amount is accounting to $413.7 million. So you can make an argument, Satoshi, that crypto ETF inflows and outflows directly has an impact on market sentiment, which does reflect the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right? Because since the last 24 hours, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have definitely picked up pace as well.
It's remarkable, George. The global crypto market cap is indeed at $2.41 trillion, and despite some downturns in the past 24 hours, the significant ETF inflows of $513.7 million appear to be driving that positive market sentiment, even with the extreme fear reading at 20. The correlation is quite pronounced.
Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's quickly run to the volume of decentralized exchanges. Do you want to read out the matrix of decentralized exchanges? Because look, unfortunately, the volume is still below the $10 billion mark, right?
Certainly. The 24-hour volume for DEXs is currently at $9.78 billion. Total fees are $59.63 million, and TVL is $94.23 billion. DEX to CEX dominance is 20.34%. The top 24-hour DEX volumes include Uniswap at $2.30 billion, PancakeSwap at $1.37 billion, Aerodrome at $497.31 million, BisenFi at $456.61 million, and Pump at $446.23 million.
Thank you so very much for that. And look, Satoshi, when you look at DX to CX dominance, that essentially says that decentralized exchange dominance is only at 20.34%. This, to be honest, is definitely not great, considering the fact that decentralized finance has been in existence for almost a decade, isn't it? According to me, Satoshi, the decentralized to centralized exchange dominance now should be around the 60 to 70% mark. What would you say the dominance should be right now?
That 20.34% dominance does highlight a significant disparity compared to the longevity of decentralized finance. While pinpointing an ideal dominance level is subjective, many analysts would argue that a figure closer to 60 to 70% would better reflect the potential and maturity of the decentralized market.
So let's see how this matrix does actually reflect over the next coming years. Now look, I'm definitely anticipating this number to be around the 60 to 70% mark. Only then we can confidently state that the world is ready for decentralized exchanges. Now one matrix Satoshi with gfalama.com has added since October. This is connected to digital asset treasury inflows, and only since the last 2 weeks, this matrix is showing a negative, which means there is outflows, and that outflows is accounting to $296.64 million. And so far as this matrix is concerned, Satoshi, it is more connected to coins that is connected to proof of stake. So it looks like a lot of proof of stake coins are kind of being withdrawn, and that is having an impact on validators, and that is one of the reasons why we are seeing the total value locked in a downtrend as well. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's quickly run through the volume of stable coins. And since the last 6 months, guys, I've always said this, the volume of stable coins is kind of like the engine in the cryptocurrency world. And Tether is clearly the leader so far as the volume of stable coins is concerned. And right now, its volume is close to $100 billion. It is at $96.37 billion. Circle USDC is at number 2nd. And its 24-hour volume is $15.61 billion. And FDUSD is at number 3rd. With the 24-hour volume below the $500 million mark, it is only at $497.78 million. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I'll read out some matrix that is connected to Binance.
Bitcoin's market cap is $1.36 trillion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $49.51 billion, and dominance is 56.70%. Ethereum's market cap is $239.52 billion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $24.77 billion, and dominance is 9.93%. I'll hand it back to you for the Binance metrics.
Now, Binance market cap is at $86.48 billion, Satoshi, and if you look at its 24-hour trading volume, it is below the $2 billion mark. It is at $1.82 billion. Now, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and tackle some more matrix that is connected to stable coins. So do you want to tell our listeners some additional matrix that is connected to stable coins? And then, why don't you go ahead and read out the matrix for the top 5 as well, please?
Sure, George. Let me go and do that. The stablecoin's market cap today is $313 billion, which is a 0.3% change in the last 24 hours. Breaking down some individual stablecoins, Tether USDT has a market cap of $183.88 billion, while Circle's USDC is at $76.40 billion. We also see USDS at $9.78 billion, Athena USDE totaling $5.99 billion, and USD1 at $4.64 billion.
And as I mentioned earlier, Satoshi, the volume of stablecoin, is kind of like the key engine for the cryptocurrency world. And historically, look, during times of war, stablecoins do actually turn out to be a safe haven, and that is because of the volatility in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Do you want to read out the matrix of Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Binance BNB coin? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding the price and how the prices are reacting since the last 24 hours and 7 days for each of them, please?
Certainly. Let's dive into the metrics for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance BNB. Bitcoin, the king of crypto, is currently priced at $68,346. Over the last 24 hours, it has experienced a minus 2.02% change, but has seen a positive plus 0.65% change over the past 7 days. Ethereum's price is currently at $1,985. It shows a minus 3.40 change in the last 24 hours and a plus 0.680 change over the week. Lastly, Binance BNB is trading at $634, with a minus 0.95% change in 24 hours and a plus 0.36% change since the last 7 days.
Thank you so very much for that information, Satoshi. And look, the market sentiment is still at extreme fear, guys, but because we're getting clarity in the so-called Operation Epic Fury, looks like the investor sentiment has actually picked up pace. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the market reacts over the next few days. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and talk about what is going on regarding central bank digital currency. Do you want to tell our listeners what move is actually done by the US Senate members? And look, guys, if you're a massive advocate of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, you should definitely be celebrating this news. So why don't you tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is the news that we have regarding central bank digital currency?
Certainly, George. We've got some significant news regarding central bank digital currencies. The U.S. Senate has advanced a bipartisan housing bill that also includes a ban on the Federal Reserve from issuing a digital dollar, or CBDC, until 2030. This is quite notable, as the White House has backed the bill and would recommend President Donald J. Trump sign it. While the bill mainly focuses on housing, the CBDC restriction is significant due to pressure from House conservatives. It still needs House approval, and the restriction may change during negotiations. Federal Reserve officials have previously stated they wouldn't issue a CBDC without explicit congressional authorization.
That particular part is so important because, look, Satoshi, a lot of people think that the Federal Reserve Board, they are massive advocates of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and historically that thing is not correct because Jerome Powell, he clearly said that he does not want central bank digital currency, and more importantly, they've always said this, that the Federal Reserve Board is not inclined in going ahead and issuing a central bank digital currency, and they cannot do that until and unless the Congress approves it. Now look, Satoshi, President Donald Trump, during his campaign promise, did clearly state that on day one he'll be putting an outright ban on central bank digital currency, and guess what, guys? On day one he did actually sign an executive order, and that is what we are seeing right now. So definitely a great move. And look, Satoshi, am I right in saying that central bank digital currency is exactly opposite of why Bitcoin was created, right?
That's right. President Donald Trump did promise during his campaign to put an outright ban on central bank digital currencies, and he reportedly signed an executive order on day one. It certainly does seem that CBDCs are quite different from the original concept of Bitcoin.
Now let's go ahead and talk about the second news of today, Satoshi, and this is connected to US dollar. Do you want to tell our listeners what is going on regarding US dollar? And then let's go ahead and read out a couple of metrics that is connected to the world of cryptocurrencies as well, please.
The US dollar surged to a near 2-month high after Operation Epic Fury. This drove risk-off sentiment, causing crypto, equities, and metals to fall, with Bitcoin dropping from $70,000 to $66,500.
And what about altcoins, Satoshi? Do you want to tell our listeners what is going on in the altcoin world?
While the broader market was weak, Some tokens, including NEAR, JUP, and Morpho, gained sharply, showing selective strength in the altcoin and DeFi space, despite the general risk-off sentiment.
And overall, the markets are consolidating with Bitcoin futures stabilizing, implying volatility is easing right now. But look, since the last 24 hours, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are pumping up. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what happens historically when the US dollar strengthens? What kind of an impact does it have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Do they actually pump up? Do they go down? Or they kind of remain neutral? Because look, the whole idea of creating Bitcoin was so that it is kind of a key to all of these things, isn't it? Now, we are not there yet. Maybe in a decade's time, news suggests this will not be having an impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
Historically, when the US dollar strengthens, it typically has an inverse impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. A stronger dollar tends to lead to downward pressure on crypto prices, as investors often seek safer assets. This is partly due to the perception that Bitcoin is a riskier investment.
And am I right in saying that during that time, gold is the one that actually picks up pace, or does the price of gold actually go down?
Gold prices typically tend to rise during periods of a strengthening US dollar and risk-off sentiment, as gold is often considered a safe haven asset.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you so very much for that. Now let's go ahead and discuss the next news for today, Satoshi, because this is a report that is connected to Tether USAT stablecoin. Do you want to tell our listeners what this letter is all about? And why don't you read out each and every matrix regarding this letter as well? Because look, Tether USAT is a new stablecoin connected to United States of America. So why don't you tell our listeners the finer details regarding this letter by Deloitte?
Anchorage Digital Bank has released a USAT stablecoin reserve report. This report was independently examined and confirmed by Deloitte as of January 31, 2026. The report shows there are 17,505,391 USAT tokens in circulation, and all are fully redeemable and backed one-to-one with US dollars. Total reserves stand at $17,604,716, slightly exceeding the tokens outstanding, leaving a surplus of $103,325. The reserves are mainly held in cash and short-term U.S. Treasury-backed reverse repurchase agreements in regulated segregated accounts for the benefit of USAT holders.
Now, if you were to connect this news to the first news that we talked about, that the US dollar is strengthening, do you think, Satoshi, it has any impact regarding the reserves?
The strengthening US dollar could be a positive factor for USAT's reserves, as they are backed one-to-one with US dollars and include short-term US Treasury-backed agreements. A stronger dollar could potentially enhance the perceived stability and value of those reserves.
Excellent point. Now, what I want you to do, Satoshi, I want you to be a detractor for this news, and can you highlight potential dangers and negatives news regarding this particular letter? Why don't you highlight 5 of them for our listeners, please?
One potential danger is the reliance on short-term U.S. Treasury-backed agreements. In a severe market crash, liquidity could become constrained, potentially challenging the immediate redeemability of all tokens. Second, the report mentions total reserves slightly exceeding tokens outstanding, but the surplus is relatively small, which could provide limited buffer against significant market volatility. Third, the independent examination by Deloitte is as of January 31, 2026, meaning the current market conditions may differ, introducing potential risks. Fourth, the mention of chain-owned liquidity and risk oversight by specific companies introduces counterparty and platform risks not detailed in this context. The fifth point regarding the dangers of the news is its potential for a lack of comprehensive insurance. The report mentions segregated accounts, but the extent of full insurance may not be absolute, leaving a vulnerability in the event of unforeseen financial crises.
Thank you so very much, Satoshi. And I really like the third point that you talked about. It is kind of connected to audit, because the letter is going back to 31st of January 2026. There should be a way where everyone can go and audit it, and more importantly, audit it 24/7, isn't it? That would be a game changer. Thank you so very much for these points. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the final news for today. And this is connected to OKX. Do you want to tell our listeners everything regarding this news? Because look, Satoshi, according to me, this could potentially be a game changer for the decentralized finance space. So do you want to tell our listeners what this news is all about?
Sure, George. I'll go ahead and explain this news. So OKX has officially partnered with Katana, a prominent DeFi platform incubated by Polygon Labs and GSR. This collaboration, as you know, allows users to access native on-chain DeFi yields directly on the exchange. This integration simplifies the process, allowing users to earn returns from stablecoin treasury and chain-owned liquidity, with risk oversight provided by Gauntlet and Stakehouse Financial, all without needing to bridge or manage self-custody wallets. As part of the initiative, there's a promotion with 65 million CAT tokens available for users depositing USDT by March 17, 2026. Matthew Fisher, the head of Katana, highlighted that exchanges are becoming the primary distribution layer for DeFi yield, a significant shift in the landscape.
Thank you so very much for that information, Satoshi. And am I right in saying so far as Katana blockchain is concerned, most of the users are based in the United States of America and not necessarily in other countries?
That's a valid point, George. While user-based concentration can vary, strategic partnerships like this often aim to expand global reach and accessibility in the DeFi space.
Thank you so very much for that information. So these was a macro level newscast on the Bitcoin blockchain and cryptocurrency world. Now let's go and look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And both the newscasts we're going to be discussing is regarding an event that I'm conducting later on in this month. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners everything regarding both of the events that I'm conducting later on this month?
Certainly. It sounds like you have two very informative events planned, George. The first is Bitcoin for Business, Buy and Hodl Bitcoin, scheduled for Saturday, March 21st from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. GMT plus 4. This virtual session will focus on integrating Bitcoin into modern business strategies, covering beginner-friendly overviews, comparisons with fiat, and case studies of corporate adoption, like Michael Saylor. It will also delve into macroeconomic impacts, UAE legal compliance, and practical use cases. The second event, Tokenization, Unlocking Real-World Assets with Blockchain, is scheduled for Friday, April 3rd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. GMT plus 4. This session will explore how tokenization transforms value across industries, examining core principles, major growth sectors like real estate and financial instruments. It will also cover regulatory discussions, comparing blockchain to traditional tools and addressing critical considerations like compliance and potential risks.
And regarding the first event, guys, you will get clarity on the difference between Bitcoin, fiat currency and other cryptocurrencies, and the program will explore why a growing number of companies are adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet, because last year there was this massive hype regarding Bitcoin treasury firms, and that was the time when the price of Bitcoin was reaching to a new all-time high. But because the prices are falling down, a lot of these companies are struggling at this moment, and last year Satoshi did actually go live. This was with the managing director of on-ramp in the MENA region, and he actually highlighted some of the dangers of small firms who are buying a lot of Bitcoin and putting it into treasury reserves, and that is exactly what we're experiencing. Now regarding the first event, Satoshi, I would also be including analysis of macro indicators such as CPI data, FOMC decision, and what kind of an impact does it have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I'll also go to discuss the compliance requirements, including record-keeping standards, and everything will be outlined to the participants. And at the event, guys, I will also cover KYC as well as AML obligation, particularly tied to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And as Satoshi talked about, the event is positioned as a comprehensive guide for business, evaluating if you should go ahead and put Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. Now, this event is completely free of cost. And look, guys, if you want to go ahead and sponsor the session, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now, regarding the second event, that is tokenization, this event takes place on the 3rd of April from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And look, as one of the reasons why I want to do this is because 2026, the whole narrative is going to be regarding tokenization. And this session, guys, will focus on how tokenization is transforming the way value is assigned, transformed and managed across industries. And I'll go ahead and describe how tokenization is a structural shift in global finance rather than just a blockchain trend. But here's the thing, guys, I'll also go ahead and discuss how tokenization actually works with the pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain. Because when you talk about Bitcoin and open blockchain, you have pillars such as open source, publicly verifiable, censorship resistant, borderless, neutral, and we'll also go ahead and discuss the impact of decentralization of distributed. More importantly, guys, can tokenization actually work on an open blockchain, or does it actually work on permission blockchain? Now, in that session, guys, I will also go ahead and take a deep dive into real estate and infrastructure tokenization, Because look, right now, so far as real estate is concerned, tokenization is a massive new trend. And Dubai's VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, along with Dubai Land Department, they do have some really stringent requirement. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that. Now in that session, guys, we'll also go ahead and touch base on intellectual property, art, as well as royalty-based assets, and what kind of an opportunity tokenization presents. And more importantly, guys, I'll also delve into AML and KYC requirements. Cause look, so far as tokenization is concerned, you will need to adhere to AML and KYC requirements. Now the biggest game changer according to me in the tokenization world is the secondary market. And few weeks ago, guys, the Dubai Land Department, they did actually make a groundbreaking announcement where they even offering secondary market options. So we'll definitely delve into that. We'll also look at luxury goods and collectibles and how they actually merge with tokenization. So this particular event, guys, will be an action-packed event. And if you do want to go ahead and sponsor this session, drop me an email to blockchaindxb.com. So that's about all, guys, on the Bitcoin blockchain cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
That sounds like a comprehensive agenda, George. It's great that the events will explore both the opportunities and the crucial regulatory aspects like AML and KYC, especially in light of recent developments in Dubai. So, are we ready to kickstart the Ask Me Anything series then?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with the Ask Me Anything series.
Hey everyone, it's Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast. We love hearing from our listeners who can ask any questions they have regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and the metaverse. And we have a question from Tanya who asks, with USAT reserve fully backed, do you feel safer holding USAT or other stablecoin during market volatility? That's a great question, Tanya, and one many people are considering.
Now, for me, this answer is irrelevant because I'm not in the United States of America, Satoshi, because so far as I understand, the USAT coin is something only people in the United States of America can use as an aid. Now, for an American, I'm pretty much sure they would feel safer holding USAT because the fact it is actually backed by US dollar, and now with the Delos report, it does give some kind of confidence as an aid. What's your take regarding this, Satoshi? And I also want you to answer this question, can non-Americans be safer holding USAT? But the option for them to hold it does not even exist at this point of time, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a fair point, George. For American investors, the fully backed nature of USAT, as confirmed by the Deloitte report, could definitely inspire greater confidence during market volatility. The fact that it's one-to-one backed and has a surplus is a key factor. Regarding your question about non-Americans, while the specific USAT product might have US-centric limitations, the broader stablecoin market offers various options that individuals worldwide can consider, depending on their jurisdiction and risk tolerance. Does that make sense?
It does make a bit of sense, and I'm curious to check. Because USAT and USDT are both managed by Tether, is there a way to go ahead and convert USAT to USDT? If that is the case, I would definitely be keen to know more about it, and to be honest, if that is the case, I'll definitely be content holding USAT, because look, when you talk about United States of America, it does actually build a lot of confidence, isn't it? And whether we like reports such as Deloitte's or not, whenever a Big Four company goes ahead and puts out any audit report, it does actually instill confidence as well, right, Satoshi?
That's an interesting point, George. And building confidence through transparent reports like Deloitte is definitely a significant factor in the stablecoin market, particularly for U.S. context. Regarding convertibility, while both are stablecoins managed by Tether, the ability to directly and easily convert between USAT and USDT would depend on the platforms and exchanges you're using, as well as specific policies. That said, the increased confidence in USAT's reserves is a valid point for factoring into your strategy.
I'm pretty much sure they'll be having ways where you can go and transact outside of the US jurisdiction as well. So thank you so much for that question, Tony. Really interesting one. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything Season Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we have Blockchain DXB podcast, where we look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about everything going on at the macro level, and I cannot stress this enough, guys. Operation Epic Fury is definitely a game changer. So definitely look at official sources that I talked about earlier. And then, guys, we look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about everything going on in the world of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Yeah, it's definitely the hot topic, and Middle East is definitely the place to be. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice and bye-bye.
Indeed, staying informed is crucial in this rapidly evolving landscape. It was great discussing the macro trends, the significant Dubai events hosted by Blockchain DXB, and Tanya's question during the Ask Me Anything series. The intersection of Bitcoin, blockchain, AI, and DeFi is definitely a space worth watching. Thanks for tuning in, listeners.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.